Princess Elara and the Moonlit Crown. The trials of the Whispering Willow. The moon hung high in the star-studded sky, casting its silver glow over the Enchanted Forest. Princess Elara stood at the edge of the woods, clutching a small satchel filled with essentials. Around her neck hung a glowing amulet gifted by the wise sage, Lyria, who had whispered, "This will guide you when the path is unclear." Having passed the first trial of the River of Reflection, where she had to confront her fears, Elara now prepared for the second trial. Her goal was still the same: to retrieve the legendary Moonlit Crown, a symbol of wisdom and leadership that would allow her to bring peace and prosperity to her kingdom. As Elara stepped into the forest, the air felt alive. The trees whispered secrets only they could hear, their branches bending and twisting to form a labyrinth. The forest was darker here, and even the moonlight struggled to reach the ground. Elara touched her glowing amulet, feeling its warmth steady her nerves. "Stay calm," she whispered to herself. The forest tests the heart, not just the mind. The first few steps seemed straightforward, but soon the path forked into 3 twisting trails. Each was dark, uninviting, and eerily silent. Elara stopped to listen, hoping the whispers of the forest might guide her. Suddenly, a low growl echoed from the leftmost path. Her heart quickened, but she held her ground. "Fear cannot lead me," she murmured. Instead, she chose the middle path, where the air felt slightly lighter. As she moved deeper into the maze, the forest seemed to close in around her. Shadows flickered, and distant whispers grew louder. It was as if the trees themselves were watching her. After what felt like hours, Elara came to a clearing. In its center stood the legendary Whispering Willow, a tree unlike any she had seen before. Its massive silver trunk glowed faintly, and its leaves shimmered as though made of starlight. Beneath the tree sat a young boy, his face streaked with tears. "Hello," Elara called gently, stepping closer. The boy looked up, startled. "Who are you?" he asked. "I'm Elara. What's your name?" "Finn," he replied. "I'm lost. I've been wandering this forest for days, but I can't find my way out." Elara's heart ached for him. "Don't worry, Finn. I'll help you." "But the forest doesn't let just anyone leave," Finn said, shaking his head. "It tests you." Elara knelt beside him. "Then we'll face it together." Elara and Finn began retracing his steps, but the maze had changed. Paths that were once open were now blocked by tangled roots, and new trails seemed to appear out of nowhere. As they walked, a soft growl echoed through the forest. Elara froze, her hand instinctively reaching for her satchel. From the shadows emerged a pair of glowing yellow eyes, followed by the sleek, muscular form of a panther. Its fur shimmered like midnight, and its eyes locked onto Finn. "Stay behind me," Elara whispered, stepping between Finn and the panther. The creature growled, its body low and ready to pounce. Elara remembered Lyria's words. "This amulet will guide you when the path is unclear." Clutching the amulet, she held it high. The warm light from the charm bathed the panther in a golden glow. Instead of attacking, the panther paused, its growl softening into a purr. It circled Elara and Finn before vanishing into the shadows. Finn exhaled in relief. "How did you do that?" "Kindness," Elara said, though her heart was still racing. Even the fiercest creatures can sense it. The forest grew more unpredictable as they ventured deeper. The paths shifted beneath their feet, leading them in circles. Elara stopped to rest, her mind racing for answers. "I've tried every path," Finn said, frustrated. "We'll never get out." Elara placed a hand on his shoulder. "Sometimes the way forward isn't a path," she said, her eyes drifting to the trees above. With a deep breath, she began climbing one of the massive trees, her hands gripping the rough bark. Finn followed hesitantly. From above, the maze stretched out like a living puzzle, its paths glowing faintly in the moonlight. "There," Elara pointed. "The Whispering Willow is guiding us. Look at the way the leaves shimmer." Finn nodded, his confidence returning. They climbed down and followed the faint shimmer, the maze no longer a labyrinth but a guide. As they approached the Whispering Willow again, the tree seemed to come alive. Its silver branches bent low, forming an archway that pulsed with light. "You have shown courage and compassion," the tree's voice echoed in their minds. "But to complete this trial, you must prove your trust." From the archway emerged a mirror-like pool. Its surface was perfectly still, reflecting the moonlight. "What do we do?" Finn asked, glancing nervously at the pool. "We step in," Elara said, taking his hand. Together, they stepped onto the water. Instead of sinking, they walked across it, their reflections shimmering beneath them. The reflections began to change. Finn saw himself as a confident young boy, no longer afraid. Elara saw herself as a queen, leading her kingdom with wisdom and kindness. "Trust in who you are," the tree's voice said. As they reached the center of the pool, the water erupted in a burst of silver light. When it faded, Elara held a glowing orb in her hand, the second key to the Moonlit Crown. The Whispering Willow's voice softened. "You have proven yourself worthy, Elara. Remember, true leadership is not about power, but about guiding others to find their own strength." Elara turned to Finn, smiling. "You were as much a part of this as I was," she said. The boy nodded, his tears replaced by a newfound confidence. "Thank you, Princess." As the two stepped out of the clearing, the forest seemed lighter, its shadows less foreboding. Elara knew she had one final trial ahead, but for the first time, she felt ready. The Whispering Willow had not only tested her, it had taught her the true meaning of leadership. The moon shone brighter as she walked, the amulet glowing warmly against her chest. The final chapter of her journey awaited, but she carried with her the wisdom, courage, and kindness she had discovered along the way.